and that's a cluster of 4. Let's go on to our final cluster of 4 personality types in the Myers-Briggs system, and we're going to look at all the TP types. So these are ENTPs, INTPs, ESTPs, and ISTPs. All 4 of these types use the decision-making process or the judging function, technically called introverted thinking. And we've nicknamed this accuracy. And accuracy is asking the question, what makes sense? What makes sense to me in this situation or this decision that I've got to make? What makes logical, analytical sense?
Introverted thinking is way more subjective. It's thought, but it's thought turned inward. So the resources are all internal. It's all data and information and trying to figure out what is congruent and what makes sense and finding leverage points in things and really understanding systems on a deep level. So accuracy people, the way that it manifests to people in the outside world is it looks a lot like being smart. It looks a lot like being competent and capable. It's very important for accuracy people to get thoughts across to others, to be able to communicate them in a way that is understandable to other people. Being understood is very important, and being capable and competent is extremely important. And so a lot of the ways that they express love and receive love is through the lens of competency. They want to make sure that their mate sees them as competent. Very important to accuracy people. So I know for myself, I'm an ENTP. I know for myself that if I think that you, Joel, are at all questioning my competency, that's when I turn the most oversensitive. And one of the ways that an accuracy person knows that their spouse loves them is that their spouse will communicate that they believe that the accuracy person is competent and capable in anything that's important to them as an individual.
An unconscious question that might be asked by the accuracy person when they're saying, do you love me? The underlying question is, do you think I'm totally competent? Do you think I've got this? Do you think I can figure this thing out? Even if I don't know how to do it right now, do you believe I'm competent enough to figure out how to do this?
Yeah. And are you impressed with my performance? I want you to see me as competent in general. And then I want your feedback for improvement. And so that's a part of that loving relationship for me. You giving me that feedback is really important. And that actually leads me to the next one, which is, can I trust that you don't think I'm BSing or lying to you in any way? And this is a two-way street. I want to know that back as well. But a major part of an accuracy pair bond relationship is that we are radically honest with each other. We're able to tell each other the tough stuff, and that you know that I'm never going to lie to you. I am not BSing you in any way. If I say I love you, it's because I love you. If I say that I'm pissed as hell at you, it's because I'm pissed as hell at you. But I'm going to be as accurate as possible with my communication with you. And the more I love you, the more that I will put time and effort and thoughts into how I craft my language and expression to you. Now, this might be more of an NTP thing than an STP thing, but I think that both styles, I think anybody who uses accuracy is going to make sure that they're communicating in a way that shows integrity, intellectual integrity. And you might not even be a very verbose, you might not be a wordsmith, and that's okay. You're still going to want to articulate what you're thinking, your feelings, in as accurate a way as possible with your mate. And it's going to be very important specifically with your mate.
Now, this can be a challenge. If you're not an accuracy person and you're with an accuracy person, most people, as you go through life, don't really tell you what's going on for them. I mean, you interact with people all the time. Just a daily interaction we all have is, hi, how are you? I'm great, how are you? Most people aren't doing great when they say they're doing good or great. They probably have some challenge or something, but we socially just shine it on for each other. So it can be a little disconcerting or a little challenging sometimes if you're with an accuracy person and you say, you're checking in with them to find something out and they tell you. Oftentimes we always try to read into what people say because we think that they're not really speaking what's actually going on for them. And one of the things I've had to train, being in a relationship with an accuracy person myself, I had to train myself that Antonia actually means what she says. Like when she says that she's feeling this or this is happening for her, it's not the first layer and I've got to keep digging to get down to the heart of the actual matter of what's going on. She genuinely is giving me the experience that she's having in a truthful way, in the most accurate way possible that she can do in that moment. And that's something I've had to train myself because I grew up in a very feeler household with a lot of emotion and everybody gave you what they thought you wanted to hear, and you had to spend time digging down into the real etymology of what they're trying to express to you. So this could be a challenge just to learn to take them at face value if you have an accuracy person in your life.
Yeah, in fact, if a person treats me like that, I actually think that they don't have any respect or love for me.
Accuracy people also need to know that it makes sense for you to love them. When they're asking the unconscious question, do you love me? They're really asking, does it make sense that you would love me? Like, if there's an incongruency here, that's a concern for them. So that logical consistency of how you express love matters to an accuracy person when they're asking that question, do you love me?
Yeah, and that can look in a conversation like an accuracy person might actually ask questions like, why are you with me? Or like, what about this relationship makes you want to stay with me? And that might sound insecure. Like, it might sound like a question of insecurity, like why would you be with me? And it's not a question of insecurity, it's a question of trying to have all the information line up for the accuracy user. Now, not all accuracy users might need to have that style of conversation, but if they do ask that question, it's an outside expression of something that's a process that's already happening inside of themselves. Like, they're trying to figure out how all of this matches up. And relationships are not always easy for people of this that use this process. Relationships can be a little mystical. So they're trying to make sense of something that by definition doesn't have a lot of sense around it, which is the pair bond relationship. Like, that's not based on sense, it's based on love, and it's based on ethereal components. So an accuracy person will need to at least make sense of the relationship to some extent, and it doesn't come from a place of insecurity, it comes from a place that this is not normally their sandbox, so they're just trying to work it out.
How accuracy users unconsciously say, yes, I love you. One way is by saying, I will rigorously be honest with you. I won't just tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. And again, we're assuming that it's a developed accuracy person. And, as an example, this might be telling you, if you wear an outfit, hey, what do I look like in this outfit? They'll probably tell you the truth. If they have a problem, like in the relationship coming up, maybe have developed a wandering eye, they might call it and say, I'm developing this thing. I'm starting to notice other people, and they'll just be radically honest about that. Radical honesty is actually not a sign of something bad with an accuracy person. If they're radically honest with you, that means they're developed and they love you, and they're expressing love by being radically honest with you. So I think that's a great reframe for you if you're with an accuracy person, to not see that as something that's bad, but see that something that's good. Another way that accuracy people say, yes, I love you unconsciously, is by learning their mate, the person they're with and the person they're in love with, at a precision level. So they really understand this person and they meet the needs in a precision performance level, like a high performance level. So if there's a particular way that you love your food prepared or your coffee prepared, they'll know that about you, and they'll study, and the nuance of it, like down to how you stir the milk into your coffee, is important. That precision element of meeting needs on a precision level and a performance level.
Yeah, and I would say it probably comes up the most sexually. I would say that accuracy people get very precision oriented sexually with their partner. And so they might even, in a sexual context, do a test iterate on you. Like, do you prefer this sensation or do you prefer this sensation, right? Like, it becomes very precision, and it's a lot about the other person's pleasure. Again, it's performance and competence. So it will show up sexually. It'll show up in other areas. Like you said, how do you like this thing done? I'm going to make sure that I do that thing tailored specifically to what you love. But it gets wrapped up again in this competence and in this test iterate piece. And it's very much a sign of love. Another piece is that an accuracy person will protect you from other people, but they will not protect you from yourself. Meaning that a part of that radical honesty is, you got yourself in this mess. Like, if somebody else tries to come get you, yeah, I'm taking the baseball bat to them. But if you just effed yourself up, well, like, you need to figure that out. This is part of how you become a competent person. This is part of how you become capable. This is your test iterate. So an accuracy person will protect you from everybody but yourself. And they don't want to be protected from themselves either. So this is part of that value exchange.
Also, I think because accuracy people have this process, it's a very egalitarian process. Accuracy is really about the data. It doesn't want to cloud that with a lot of emotion or anything else. Because it's egalitarian, accuracy people are some of the least judgmental in other people. I mean, if they're developed, again, there's all sorts of development levels here, but they're usually just absorbing the information for its own sake, not trying to make a lot of judgments based on that. So if there's something that you do or emote toward an accuracy person, or you've got a deep, dark secret you tell them, they might be like, okay, that's what's going on for you. I recognize that. Maybe I don't agree with it or like it, but I can't deny that that's how you are expressing yourself, or that's what's going on for you. I'll go ahead and accept you for who you are, even in the midst of this thing that I'm, most people would like freak out if you told me this, but I'm just going to hold space without judgment here because I love you. And that's basically a way that they can express that love to you, by just holding space for your truth, whatever truth and how much harsh that truth can be. They're going to just stay present in that and be like, okay, that's what's going on for you. That's cool.
Yeah, it's similar to authenticity people holding space for emotional expression because they know that that's honest for you. Like, that's emotionally honest. An accuracy person makes space for what is honest for you as a person. That's just your reality. So I can make space for that. And a lot of stuff goes back to this overarchingly seeing the world as opportunities to become more and less competent, overarching view of a test iterate on the world. If you've got stuff going on for you, this is your test iterate. Like we said before, I'm going to protect you from other people, but not from yourself. But I'll be there for you. Like, I'll be there with you as you're trying to improve. I'm not going to abandon you. I'm not going to just run off. I'll definitely be there through your struggle. I'm not going to protect you from the struggle, but I'll definitely be a cheerleader, or I'll be a coach. I'll be what you need me to be, without removing the test iterate component from you, because I would love for you to be competent as well. The journey it's making sure that I'm not robbing you of your opportunities to become a better person. And it's egalitarian, like you mentioned. It's sort of just space of, well, aren't we all trying to get better? The more an accuracy person doesn't try to protect you from yourself, and the more they're cheerleading you on without removing the challenge from you, that is, again, a major sign of love, because they want you to be competent since they would want to be competent themselves. One way that this can be misinterpreted by people of other types, it can be seen as harsh, insensitive, cold, right? It feels really rational, like the person's removing approval from you. And that's understandable, just like with all of the other ways that things can be misinterpreted. It might be that the accuracy person is at a low level of health or development, and they actually are legitimately cold, insensitive, and harsh. But the more developed the accuracy person is, the same behaviors might get misinterpreted that way by people of other types. But really, these are all actual signs of affection and love. These are gifts that the accuracy person is giving to their spouse. The gift of radical honesty, the gift of test iterate and competence. These are things that they would see and perceive as a gift to them, so they're giving them back as a gift to the other person. If you are misinterpreting it, if you're their spouse or even an onlooker, and you're misinterpreting or interpreting these as the negative, ask yourself, is this person legitimately at a low level of development and they're showing up at these negative ways? Or are they actually a healthy person and you're seeing their behaviors through the lens of your evaluative criteria, and it's not the same, right? Like, there's a miscommunication.
So accuracy, again, just as a refresher to close this section out, this final fourth section, has a cluster of 4 types, all the TP types: ENTP, INTP, ESTP, and ISTP types. If you're focused on personal growth, I think you'll resonate with our core content over at personalityhacker.com. We want to see you understand how your mind is wired so you can generate motivation, improve social skills, find career opportunities, and master excellent decision making. But a quick warning, we are advice and action focused in all of our articles, podcasts, and videos. This means that we attract people who like to be challenged to become excellent, to take action, to put in the work to optimize themselves, not simply just gather more information. If you are committed to personal growth and ready to radically find your inner truth, then come over and be a part of our growing community of like minds at Personality Hacker.